Sometimes, life gives us moments that remind us how a single act of kindness can transform someone's world. This story is about Keanu Reeves, a man known for his humility and compassion, and how he encountered a struggling pregnant woman working tirelessly at a gas station. What he did next left everyone speechless. Hey there, before we dive back into the story, let us know where you're watching from. If you love stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We've got another amazing story coming your way tomorrow. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon, and the summer heat was relentless. The gas station sat at the corner of a small-town highway, its pumps gleaming under the harsh sunlight. Inside the tiny convenience store attached to the station, a young woman named Emma was hard at work. She was about 7 months pregnant, and though her swollen feet ached and her back throbbed, she moved around with determination. Emma was a single mother-to-be. Life hadn't been kind to her, but she refused to give up. After her boyfriend had left her upon learning about the pregnancy, she had been forced to fend for herself. She worked long hours at the gas station, barely making ends meet. Her dreams of a stable and comfortable life for her unborn child seemed far out of reach, but she pushed forward with a fierce resolve. That day, Emma was juggling tasks behind the counter, ringing up customers, stocking shelves, and sweeping the floor. Despite the exhaustion, she managed to greet everyone with a smile. Some customers noticed her condition and offered kind words, while others barely looked her way. Among the steady stream of cars pulling up to the pumps, one stood out. A modest black car rolled in, its windows tinted, and out stepped a man wearing a simple t-shirt, jeans, and a cap pulled low over his face. At first glance, he looked like an ordinary traveler stopping for gas, but there was something quietly familiar about him. Emma noticed him walking toward the convenience store and prepared to greet him with her usual politeness. As he entered, the man smiled warmly at her. "Hi there," he said. His voice was gentle, and there was a kindness in his tone that immediately put Emma at ease. "Hello," Emma replied, brushing a strand of hair out of her face. "What can I help you with today?" The man grabbed a bottle of water from the cooler and placed it on the counter. As Emma rang him up, he glanced at her swollen belly and the tired lines on her face. "How far along are you?" he asked, his voice full of genuine curiosity. 7 months, Emma replied, offering a small smile. "It's been challenging, but I'm managing." The man nodded thoughtfully. "You're doing amazing. It must be tough working so hard in your condition." Emma shrugged. "It's not easy, but I've got no choice. I need to save as much as I can before the baby comes." Something about her words struck a chord with the man. He could see the determination in her eyes, the quiet strength of someone who had faced countless struggles but refused to let them define her. After paying for his water, he lingered for a moment, as if debating whether to say something else. Finally, he spoke. "You're an inspiration, you know that? Not everyone would be as strong as you are." Emma's cheeks flushed. She wasn't used to receiving compliments, especially from strangers. "Thank you," she said softly. The man left the store and returned to his car, but as he sat behind the wheel, he couldn't stop thinking about Emma. Her story reminded him of his own mother, who had raised him as a single parent, sacrificing so much to give him a chance at a better life. Keanu Reeves had always believed in the power of kindness, and in that moment, he knew he couldn't just drive away. The next day, Emma arrived at work early, as usual. She unlocked the store, tidied up the counters, and began her shift. It was just another day, until a delivery truck pulled into the parking lot. Emma watched in confusion as the truck driver stepped out and began unloading boxes of baby supplies, diapers, formula, clothes, blankets, and even a brand new crib. She hurried outside, her heart racing. "Excuse me," she called out to the driver. "There must be some mistake. We didn't order any of this." The driver smiled. "It's no mistake. These are for you." "For me?" Emma's voice trembled. But, how? The driver handed her a note, folded neatly in an envelope. With shaking hands, Emma opened it and began to read. "Dear Emma, I wanted to do something to help make things a little easier for you and your baby. Your strength and determination are truly inspiring, and I believe you deserve all the support you can get. Please accept these supplies as a gift, and know that you're not alone. Wishing you and your little one a future filled with love and happiness." Tears streamed down Emma's face as she read the letter. She couldn't believe it. The kind man from the day before wasn't just any traveler. He was Keanu Reeves, the world-famous actor known for his generosity and humility. Later that week, Keanu returned to the gas station, this time without the cap and sunglasses that had partially concealed his identity. Emma recognized him immediately and hurried out to greet him. "I don't even know what to say," she began, her voice choked with emotion. "Thank you doesn't seem like enough." Keanu smiled warmly. "You don't need to thank me," he said. "You're the one who inspired me. I just wanted to do what I could to help." Emma shook her head in disbelief. "You've done more than I ever could have imagined. I didn't think anyone cared." Keanu's expression grew serious. "People care, Emma. Sometimes we just need to be reminded to look around and notice what others are going through. You're stronger than you realize, and I know you'll give that baby an incredible life." For the first time in months, Emma felt a sense of hope that had been missing. Keanu's words, his generosity, and his belief in her gave her the strength to keep going. Word of Keanu's act of kindness spread quickly, and soon the small gas station became a symbol of hope and humanity. Customers began leaving tips and small gifts for Emma, many of them inspired by Keanu's example. Emma used the supplies Keanu had sent to prepare for her baby's arrival. When her son was born 2 months later, she named him Eli, after a character from one of Keanu's films. Keanu continued to check in on Emma and Eli, quietly supporting them in ways that didn't draw attention to himself. His kindness didn't just change Emma's life, it inspired everyone who heard the story to look for ways they could make a difference in their own communities. Years later, Emma often told her son about the day a stranger walked into the gas station and changed their lives. She taught him the importance of kindness, generosity, and seeing the humanity in others, values she hoped would guide him as he grew up. Keanu Reeves remained a quiet presence in their lives, never seeking recognition for what he had done. For him, the real reward was knowing that he had helped someone in need and reminded others of the power of compassion. And so, the story of a pregnant woman working hard at a gas station and the man who noticed her became a beacon of hope, a testament to the fact that sometimes, the smallest gestures of kindness can create ripples that change the world. Months after Keanu Reeves' generous act, Emma's life began to stabilize in ways she had never thought possible. The kindness she received that day inspired her to make changes, not just for herself but for her baby, Eli. She was determined to create a better future for him. The supplies Keanu had sent gave her a much-needed head start, allowing her to save money she otherwise would have spent on necessities. That cushion helped her reduce her work hours toward the end of her pregnancy, giving her time to prepare for Eli's arrival. For the first time in years, Emma felt like she could breathe. When Eli was born, Emma was overwhelmed with emotion. Holding him in her arms, she promised herself, and him, that she would do everything in her power to give him a happy, secure life. Emma's story didn't end with her receiving help. She wanted to pay it forward, just like Keanu had taught her. A few weeks after Eli was born, Emma reached out to a local women's shelter that supported single mothers. She began donating small portions of her earnings to the shelter whenever she could afford it. As Eli grew, Emma worked tirelessly to ensure he had a stable upbringing. She kept in touch with Keanu, sending him occasional letters to let him know how they were doing. Keanu, in his characteristic humble way, never asked for recognition or thanks, but Emma could tell he was genuinely happy to see her thrive. One day, when Eli was about 5 years old, Emma decided to visit the gas station where her journey had taken a pivotal turn. It had been years since she had worked there, but the memories were still fresh in her mind. As she walked through the aisles holding Eli's tiny hand, she was flooded with gratitude for the moment that had changed everything. Eli, curious as ever, tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, why are we here?" he asked, looking around the store. "This place is very special to me," Emma replied, crouching down to meet his eyes. "This is where a kind man helped us when we needed it most. He believed in us when I was scared and didn't know what to do." Eli tilted his head. "Was it Keanu? The man you tell me stories about?" Emma nodded, smiling through tears. "Yes, it was. And now, because of him, we have a better life." Years passed, and Emma continued to build a life she could be proud of. She eventually found a better job that allowed her to spend more time with Eli, and the two of them shared a bond rooted in love and resilience. Inspired by Keanu's kindness, Emma raised Eli with values of compassion, generosity, and humility. Eli, now a teenager, had grown into a thoughtful and kind young man. One evening, as the two of them sat on the porch of their modest but cozy home, Eli turned to his mother. "Mom," he began, "I've been thinking about what you always say, about how one person's kindness changed our lives. I want to do something like that too. I want to help people." Emma felt a swell of pride. "You can, Eli," she said. "Kindness doesn't have to be big or expensive. Sometimes it's just listening to someone or being there when they need it. You'll find your own way to make a difference." Eli took his mother's words to heart. By the time he graduated high school, he had already volunteered at several community organizations, helping the less fortunate and sharing his story of how one man's generosity had shaped his life. On Eli's 18th birthday, Emma decided to do something special. She reached out to Keanu, who was still quietly supporting various charities and causes, and invited him to a small celebration at their home. Keanu, ever gracious, accepted the invitation. When he arrived, Emma and Eli were waiting on the porch. For Eli, meeting Keanu was like meeting a hero. He had grown up hearing stories about the actor's kindness, and now, he was standing face to face with the man who had changed his family's destiny. "Thank you," Eli said, his voice full of emotion. "Because of you, my mom was able to take care of me. You gave us hope when we didn't have any." Keanu smiled and placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. "You don't have to thank me," he said. "Your mom's strength is what carried you both through. I just did what anyone should do, look out for each other." The three of them spent the evening sharing stories, laughing, and reflecting on how far Emma and Eli had come. For Keanu, moments like these were the reason he continued to live a life rooted in compassion. The story of Emma and Eli didn't just end there. It continued to inspire countless others in their community and beyond. Eli went on to become a social worker, dedicating his life to helping families in need. He often spoke about his mother's resilience and the act of kindness that had given them a fresh start. As for Emma, she remained a symbol of hope and strength. Her journey was a testament to the fact that even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found, often in the form of unexpected kindness from strangers. Keanu, true to his nature, never sought credit or recognition. He simply smiled when he heard about the ripple effects of his actions. For him, it was enough to know that he had made a difference. And so, the story of a man who noticed a struggling pregnant woman at a gas station and chose to help became a beacon of hope, reminding us all of the incredible power of kindness. Years passed, and Eli's passion for helping others only grew stronger. He graduated from college with a degree in social work, driven by a deep desire to make a difference in the lives of people who, like his mother, faced unimaginable struggles. He often reflected on the day his mother told him about Keanu Reeves and how a single act of kindness could change everything. Eli's first job out of college was working at a nonprofit that provided support for single mothers and struggling families. On his very first day, he met a young woman named Clara who reminded him of his mother. Clara was balancing two part-time jobs while raising a toddler, and her eyes carried the same weariness Eli had seen in his mother years ago. Instead of just offering her the standard resources, Eli went the extra mile. He listened to her story, helped her find better childcare options, and even connected her with a community program that provided housing assistance. For Clara, it wasn't just the help that mattered, it was the way Eli made her feel seen and valued. One evening, Eli returned home after a long day at work. Emma, now in her early 50s, was waiting for him in the kitchen, a warm meal on the table. Though her hair had streaks of gray and her hands showed the signs of years of hard work, her smile was as radiant as ever. "You look tired," Emma said, setting a plate in front of him. "But I know that look. You helped someone today, didn't you?" Eli grinned, his exhaustion fading as he recounted Clara's story. "She reminded me of you," he admitted. "I just kept thinking about how strong you were and how much you deserved help when you were struggling." Emma reached across the table and took his hand. "You're making me so proud, Eli. You're living proof that kindness can create a ripple effect. Keanu helped us, and now you're helping others. It's like the kindness keeps growing." Eli nodded, his heart swelling with gratitude for the journey that had brought them here. He often thought about writing to Keanu, just to let him know how much his actions had shaped their lives. But Keanu had always made it clear that he didn't want recognition, he simply wanted to know that Emma and Eli were happy. As Eli's career progressed, his impact grew. He started his own organization dedicated to supporting families in need, focusing on providing resources and mentorship for single parents. He named the organization Ripple, a tribute to the ripple effect of kindness that had changed his life. Meanwhile, Emma continued her own efforts to give back. She began volunteering at the same women's shelter that had supported her during her toughest times. The women there looked up to her as a source of strength and inspiration, and Emma took pride in being able to offer them hope. One day, as Emma and Eli were preparing for a community event hosted by Ripple, they received an unexpected visitor. Keanu Reeves, now older but still the same humble and kind-hearted man, had decided to pay them a visit. When he arrived at their modest home, Eli was momentarily speechless. He had grown up hearing stories about Keanu, but seeing him again after so many years felt surreal. "Keanu!" Emma exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. She embraced him warmly, her gratitude as fresh as the day he had first helped her. Keanu smiled, looking around the room and taking in the photos of Emma and Eli's journey displayed on the walls. "I had to come see how you two were doing," he said. "I heard about Ripple, and I couldn't be prouder of what you've accomplished." Eli finally found his voice. "You're the reason we're here today," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "If you hadn't helped my mom that day, I don't know where we'd be." Keanu shook his head. "Your mom's strength is what carried you both through. I just gave a little nudge. The rest, that was all you." They spent the evening catching up, sharing stories and laughter. For Keanu, it was a reminder of why he believed so strongly in kindness. For Emma and Eli, it was a chance to thank the man who had given them the hope they needed to build a better future. As the years went on, Ripple grew into a national organization, touching the lives of thousands of families across the country. Eli often spoke at events, sharing his story and encouraging others to believe in the power of kindness. Emma, though she preferred to stay out of the spotlight, was always by his side, her quiet strength a constant source of inspiration. She would often tell people, "You don't need to be famous or wealthy to make a difference. Sometimes, all it takes is noticing someone who's struggling and doing what you can to help." Keanu continued to live his life with humility, supporting causes close to his heart and staying in touch with Emma and Eli. Though he never sought recognition, the impact of his actions rippled through the lives of countless people, a testament to the enduring power of compassion. In the end, the story of a pregnant woman working at a gas station and the kind stranger who noticed her became more than just a moment in time. It became a legacy, a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can create ripples that touch lives in ways we can't even imagine. And so, Emma, Eli, and Keanu remained connected by the invisible thread of compassion, their lives a testament to the beauty of kindness and the extraordinary power of simply caring for one another.